Just before we look at the Bitcoin TA, remember you can join our trading group right now. Lifetime membership is just $200. Sign up for 12 months, $150. That's $12.40 per month. Sign up for 6 months for $100, or if you just want to have a look for a month, it's $40. You get access to all 12 Telegram channels. Visit www.bpoi.uk. add/join if you just want to go straight to the sign up page. Once we hit 100 members, we'll be giving away $1,000 in crypto via our wallet bombs. We are offering a free channel so people can get a sneak peek of some of the things that we're doing in the group. More details coming on this tomorrow. Right, let's have a look at the Bitcoin TA. Morning guys, 8:37 on Wednesday. Just having a look at Bitcoin, so daily Bitcoin update. Further updates will be posted in the group throughout the day. But we're just waiting at the moment, so we're waiting to see what happens with Bitcoin. What we're looking for is some sort of breakout of this upper trend line at the moment. So you can see I've just charted these previous corrections, falling wedges if you like, so we can see this explosive move up, and then we can see the same again here. We're just waiting to see if that's going to happen at the moment, okay? Or are we going to see another leg down? So let's go over to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so yesterday we posted in the group that Bitcoin was moving upwards, which we saw here. We saw this move up, and then we highlighted all of the resistance above and what's likely to happen, which is this arrow that we drew in yesterday. Oh, 1 second. Which we drew in yesterday. So the resistance that Bitcoin is facing right now is on the 4-hour. This is just on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so we got 46,681. Okay, which is been previous resistance and support. We've got the 21 simple moving average. We've got the 50 simple moving average. We've got resistance of 47,870. We've got the 200 SMA on the daily time frame. This is this orange line going through. I'll double check that position shortly. Then we have 48,503, and then we have this trend line as well. So Bitcoin has an overwhelming amount of work to do. Now the question is, in the face of all this resistance, are we just going to see that further drop down before we actually move back up and break out? Okay, we seem to be trading in this falling wedge, which we identified a long time ago, but we went through yesterday. And this blue dotted line, by the way, is a head and shoulders line on the daily time frame. Still keeping an eye on it, but not too sure that that's going to play out now. But we're just going to have a look. But we've broken down past the neckline. Are we seeing a bit of a bearish retest of that neckline? That's what we need to understand. If we do move down, we've got support at 45,432, 44,207, 42,056. Obviously, the line that we don't want to cross, 40,629 ideally, okay? But we could see, as we're moving across this vertical line here, 10th of January, that's when I think we're going to see some sort of decision made in and around that time. But we're moving across it, we're going to see a rejection of this trend line and then a move down to the bottom of this particular falling wedge pattern. Okay, so that's what we're keeping an eye on at the moment. 45,432, that's our support line, which has been holding. We can see that this has been holding previously. We just got to see if this continues to hold. And if it doesn't, we've got to be ready for that drop down and potentially see as far down as the 38,000 region, which definitely isn't out of the question at the moment. I mean, it's been previous support or resistance before in that area. The reason that we don't want to lose, if I go to the let's have a look at the, sorry, that's the futures. Let's just go to the daily time frame very quickly. The reason we don't want to lose this level is just because it's been the previous level where Bitcoin bounced from. So a move down below this level would essentially mean a lower low, which could indicate a continuation of the downtrend. Alright, so it's very important to keep an eye on this level at the same time. If we just have a look at the 1-hour chart, okay, we can see that we're in this smaller falling wedge. on the 1 hour chart, and we're respecting the upper and lower trend lines at the moment. So we saw yesterday, we saw a rejection of the upper trend line, potentially the 200 SMA on the daily, and at the moment I think we're likely to see a move down to this trend line, potentially move back up again. Let's just have a look at the indicators. Yeah, so we're overbought on the stock RSI, so likely to see a move down on the stock RSI, which would potentially coincide with a move down on the price. MACD bullish but not particularly strong. RSI just above 50, so you could call that bullish, so just above 50. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on Bitcoin. Let's go to the 4 hour time frame again. Just going to reset the chart. Things to remember are these levels here. So essentially what we're looking for, let me just remove these drawings. Essentially what we're looking for is for Bitcoin to move up and basically position itself here or here. We just want to see a breakout of this upper trend line of the falling wedge and a move above the 200 SMA, okay, which is this gold line on the daily. But that would also coincide with a move above the 200 SMA on the 4 hour time frame as well. So regaining this level, I would say 49,481, taking into account psychological resistance at 50,000, that would be a strong move for Bitcoin. But we just have to hold these levels. Where we've broken out before, we haven't been able to hold these levels. We've fallen back down. So we need to be able to break out and then flip previous resistance into support, and then have a continued period of time above that resistance level. So a period of time where we're using that as support before potentially the next leg up. For me, I'm looking at bullish scenario either above 51,600 to be determined, but definitely above 53,781. So they are the key levels for me with regards to making a decision on whether we are out of this correction. But for now, it's a case of all eyes on Bitcoin as usual. We're just watching to see what happens over the next few days. But I believe by the 10th of January, we'll have a decision as to whether we're potentially breaking out or we're taking another leg down. If we take another leg down, then you can see the levels. We've highlighted the levels that we could be targeting. If it does break 40,629, but we see some sort of very strong V-shaped recovery, so it breaks down past this level, as long as it breaks back up fairly quickly, retests and start to move higher, then fine. If we see that breakdown and then a bearish retest against this level, we could then see continued downside, okay, which is what we don't want at this stage. Bitcoin dominance, here we go. So Bitcoin dominance is an indication as to how altcoins, essentially is what we use it for, how altcoins will perform. We had 39.55% as our low, and what we were looking for was a breakdown below that level and then a bearish retest. So I'm on the 4 hour time frame at the moment. Let me zoom in. Okay, and what we've had so far is that bearish retest. So we've had this move down, and then we've had a bearish retest against 39.55, which is previous support, and then a move down. However, we are starting to see a move up again. So it'll be interesting to see if Bitcoin dominance can regain this level and start moving up. And if it does, then altcoins won't move as well. So basically, if Bitcoin dominance is moving up or pumping, altcoins generally move sideways or move downwards. Okay, when Bitcoin dominance is moving down, altcoins tend to move up. Okay, so what we want to see is another rejection of 39.55 and then a continuation down for Bitcoin dominance, and then we may well see altcoin season, although we still need to see some sort of move from Bitcoin moving into overbought check, some downside expected soon. So that's one of our alerts that pops up in one of the channels. So in order for altcoin season to really take off, we still need to see some sort of move from Bitcoin. At the moment, 12 hour time frame or daily time frame, we're in this accumulation phase, and we're just waiting to see now what happens when it gets to the end of this this phase. If it continues to use 45,432 as support, we should see sideways movement like this until the time It just needs to make a decision, and I think that will be in and around the 10th. Okay. I was just having a look at BTC. I was just having a look at futures. Okay, so just every weekend potentially you got a futures gap, but we didn't have any this weekend. All the previous weekends actually. So futures the gaps are 34.445 and 32.925. So you can see this big gap here. If I zoom in, you can see this gap here, and then we've got another gap just further down at 26.175. A lot of the time these future gaps get filled. I'm not saying that these are going to get filled, but it's just something that we keep an eye on. So bear that in mind. DXY as well, it's starting to move down. So yesterday we posted in the group and on the update yesterday that we had this pump on the DXY, and as this sort of started to move up, Bitcoin started to move down. So we're seeing some downward movement from the DXY. So it'll be interesting to see if this continues down. If it does continue down, then potentially we may well see some sort of move up from Bitcoin, which potentially we're seeing at the moment. This is the daily time frame, okay, but we've still got a hell of a lot of resistance to overcome before we even break out of this upper trend line. So all eyes on Bitcoin. Let's just have a look at the indicator on the 4 hours. Just had that alert flash up. So yeah, we can see our indication is stock RSI on the 4 hours moving into overbought. Just had a bit of a bullish tick on the MACD. And the RSI is below 50, so pretty much bearish on the RSI, although pointing upwards. Trouble with the stock RSI now being in overbought is there's a strong possibility it will start to move down. If that moves down and the MACD decides to roll over, then we will see another test yet again, 45.432 area. It'll be interesting to see if this continues to hold. Volume just seems to be dropping off a little bit. We can see the volume just dropping off, although very small spike there. If volume continues to drop, then potentially we will see that move down. Okay, so all eyes on Bitcoin. Obviously what Bitcoin does, altcoins tend to follow. Quite different yesterday. I think there was, with Bitcoin dominance moving lower, there was some good movement from altcoins. Sol in particular, despite the bad news about the additional DDoS hack, Sol was breaking out. We had an alert on Sol. We're still watching it because there hasn't been a great deal of volume, but we saw that breakout drop back into the pattern as Bitcoin moved down, but we've just seen another breakout of this falling wedge. Okay, potentially you could move your falling wedge line to here, just to add a degree of confidence that it is breaking out. Potentially it's still trading within that pattern, so keep an eye on that one as well. Just quickly, let's have a look at block. So we posted a setup on block. Let's have a look at block on the daily reset chart. Let me just bring this up. So block had a little bit of movement yesterday, but still very much trading in this falling wedge, waiting for a breakout of this upper trend line. In the group, when this upper trend line gets broken, an alert will be triggered in the breakout channel. So if you are part of the group, then you will see that breakout. So we're kind of doing the work for you. We've also got an alert here. So if the price does drop down to lower trend line area, again, that potentially would be a good buy on block. We are looking at SXP, had a breakout, fallen back into the pattern. And this is what we're seeing yesterday, and this is what I was warning about with trading altcoins. Everything is high risk at the moment because we just don't know what Bitcoin is going to do. Rose started to move back down, but starting to move back up again. We've got our area of value down the bottom here, so potentially we'll see Rose move down to this area of value, where then I would look to pick up some Rose. Alternatively, we're just looking for a breakout of this upper trend line, retest and move higher. Again, alert for the breakout channel on that one also. Mask, similar story. Area of value is just trading above the area of value at the moment for us, so we're just waiting to see what happens with Mask, but certainly a good coin to watch. It's been in a strong uptrend for some time. SHIB, the burn process goes on with SHIB. I'm expecting big movement. Once Bitcoin starts moving, I'm expecting big movement from sheep. I'm going to trash this chart and I'm going to redo this one for the group. So I'll do that one for you shortly. Link, success story on Link. Again, posted in the group on the breakout of Link. Let me go to the 4-hour chart and we can see what we were expecting. So we're in this falling wedge again with Link. We saw the breakouts. Look for a retest of the upper trend line or 23.92 or 23.23. So we had this breakout. We had this retest. You can see the retest right here, okay, and then we've had a strong move upwards on Link. So Link is looking very good at the moment, and lots of positive news posted about Link in the group also. We can see that since the breakout, not massive gains, but since the breakout, we're looking at 16% from Link and continuing higher. Tezos, again, XTZs, breakouts, again posted in the group, retested of the trend line, so retested the trend line there, okay, and potential continuation higher. Just be very careful. If Bitcoin loses that support line, then these will follow. Band, again, similar story with Band. Okay, look for another retest, the upper trend line, or support of 5686. We had that retest, 5686. Moving upwards, target set 7.389, okay. Resistance 6196, just facing that resistance at the moment. You've potentially got a very small cup here. Okay, so we're seeing this right now, so we might well see a bit of a retrace. Test of 5686 again before moving up. Doge, I'm not worried about Doge at the moment. ICP, success story on ICP, reset chart, alerts going off. Let me go to the 4-hour chart as well. 4-hour chart is the preferred chart for us in the group. I think it gives you the most amount of information. So in the group, we were talking about ICP, breakout of this upper trend line. This dotted line was an alert line for us. We also saw a retest of that level, break higher. At the moment, again, we're just hitting some resistance, so we're just waiting to see if ICP can break resistance 36.58. Target 51.55 on ICP if we can break this resistance level. Not sure that's going to happen at the moment with regards to Bitcoin being oversold on the 4-hour. Woo! Pointed out by Nick yesterday, and a couple of other coins he's pointed out. Thank you very much. Woo! Similar story. Okay, we had a breakout, falling wedge. Actually, no, this wasn't a falling wedge. This was more a pennant idea. Large volume spike, okay? So volume coming in. There was some big news from Woo posted in the news channel. Look for a retest of the upper trend line or support 9307. Didn't get that, okay? Didn't get that. Target 1 after retest, hit target 2 after retest. Just fallen short of target 2, okay? But not a bad trade if you entered into Woo. You were looking at 30%, 30.42% on that trade. Just missed it by not a lot. Okay, so Woo doing quite well. Solana, I think I went through Solana yet back in the pattern. CRV just making higher highs. Okay, so keep an eye on CRV making higher highs. Looking for a retest of this area. Alt H. Let's turn that to resistance. Actually, no, turn it to support. Just trading above it at the moment. Just going to move this down to around about this level. Okay, so we're looking for a retest here, which we've had. This is on the 3 days. Have a look at the 4-hour. Okay, so we seem to be holding this level, but I'm just going to wait a bit longer before entering a trade. Volume seems to be peaking, so dipping off at the moment. So just going to keep an eye on CRV. And then NIA also breaking up out of the channel, facing resistance at the moment, 17.996. I'm looking for a retest of 17.996 before potentially entering a position. Again, with regards to Bitcoin, and we've got to see what happens with Bitcoin dominance. We may see NIA fall back into the pattern. Okay, at which case this lower trend line here, that would be an area of value if it just falls back down to this lower trend line. Okay, so that's a bit of a roundup, kind of what we do in the group, and all eyes on Bitcoin right now. All eyes on Bitcoin. What's going to happen over the next few days? Okay, are we going to hold, or are we going to break out? In the group, I've set this line here, so I'm just going to move it down slightly. 44,366, that's an alert. So if Bitcoin does move down in the breakout channel, you'll have a breakdown alert, which will just tell you that Bitcoin has basically lost this support level. Okay. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Plenty of work to do. Actually, let's just have a quick look at the news. Let's see if there's any news. Not too much going on the news front. Let's just bring this up. Cancel. So Polygon Matic Curve CRV, which we mentioned, is two additional altcoins primed for 10x gains this year, according to analyst Jason Pizzino. So I mean, these are altcoins worth watching. Matic, Polygon, definitely. CRV, yes. Sushi they mention, and Curve, Sushi, and Unified, YFI, yeah, Uni Finance. So worth having a look at that story. I'll post that one now in the group, in a news channel. I'll post it. Okay, so have a look at that one. Goldman Sachs. Okay, Bitcoin could reach 100k price by beating gold. All of these predictions, great, give you a degree of confidence, but you just got to trade the chart in front of you until Bitcoin breaks out of this falling wedge that it's currently in. It's not going anywhere apart from down. So we need to see a break up. We need some volume coming in, and we need some idea of where Bitcoin is going once we achieve that. Chainlink, which we've mentioned. Chainlink becomes profitable as token surged by 31%. So obviously this is one that we were following yesterday. Becomes profitable again after the 50% correction started back in November. The majority of Chainlink network was holding the asset at a loss. Okay, so a lot of people holding on to Link just because there's a degree of confidence in what Link is going to be able to achieve. So certainly one for a portfolio hold if you're looking at long-term holds. Airbnb, you know, crypto is going mainstream. Airbnb could be on track to add cryptocurrency payments. Huge news if they pull it off. I'm not sure they're going to at the moment. This story, wait to see approach, 3/4 of Bitcoin supply now illiquid. So basically what they're saying is, even though Bitcoin has been correcting all of this year they mentioned, which is that we're only 4 days in, but even though Bitcoin has been correcting, people are not looking to sell. They're holding their Bitcoin in storage wallets. So the question is, if they're doing that, are we going to see that additional move down that we're talking about if Bitcoin currency in general isn't in the marketplace? So if they're in cold storage, it's not going to be sold off. So that's one thing that they're eluding at the moment. So this is the paragraph here. The figures suggest that more Bitcoin is being transferred into storage, indicating an increase in holding habits and accumulation. The decline in highly liquid supply also hints that there may not be a major sell-off or capitulation event at any time in the near future. Now what they're getting at is, generally before there's been these big moves up, there's been one major sell-off, which is almost what we're expecting with regards to this particular move. Okay, so there's always been that last sell up, call it a spring, call it capitulation, where people just start selling because they're worried that Bitcoin, you know, is basically gonna drop to areas, pricing levels that they're not comfortable with. So you get this drop off before you get this move back up. But what that story is indicating is that if Bitcoin is in storage and not on the exchanges, then how are we going to get that big sell-off? So it'd be interesting to see what happens. But at the moment, we know what we're doing. We're just waiting to see what happens in this area over the next 7 days. And are we going to see a break higher, or are we going to see a break lower? Okay, so have a strategy for both, and I will catch you tomorrow. Thanks.